After object-oriented concept or the key concept of object-oriented, the next topic is introduction of C++. As we have discussed earlier, C++ is a combination of object-oriented as well as procedure-oriented language. Reason: C++ को ऑब्जेक्ट और प्रोसीजर लैंग्वेज ही क्यों कहा जाता है, उसे प्योर ऑब्जेक्ट ओरिएंटेड लैंग्वेज क्यों नहीं कहा जाता? बिकॉज the exact rule of object oriented language is that all the function must be enclosed within the class. जितने भी फंक्शन हैं, कोई भी फंक्शन उसे हमेशा क्लास के इनसाइड ही होना चाहिए. दे कैन नॉट मूव outside of your class, and this is the reason why C++ doesn't define as a pure object oriented language, because the main function of C++ is always declared um, outside of your class, not the inside of your class. In compare of, if you take the example of Java, we can mention the class for main function, but in if we talk about C++, the main function is always outside of class of your program. So this is the reason why it is defined as object oriented and as well as procedure oriented language. So as we know, it is a combination of both. We have discussed earlier about the history of C++. It was developed by Zern who was the inventor of Cibola 67 with the combination of C as well, as well as Algol also, where the main uh, concept or the main focus of Jan Stroop is to create a proper language connected with the concept, each and every concept of C, and the concept of classes from the Simula 67. And that's why it initially it was C++ was defined as C with classes, and in 1983 it was renamed by Rick Maschiti as a C++ instead of C with classes. So this is the how do we execute the program. This is the basic concept where you need to be create the program or the code first. You have to be save that code, compile the code. If you use Turbo C++, you just put the F9 button or Alt F9 button to compile or execute the program. So this is a flow chart of the execution of your program in C++. The first step is we need to open the text editor. The text editor may be Turbo, the text editor may be Warland, the text editor may be CodeBlock, and anyone. You need to write the code, or you need to be before the execution you need to be write the code in a correct manner. Save the file with the name of .cpp. See, if you save your file, with .c extension, it does not support the header file related with your C++ or the functions related with your C++. You can just say C is a base class or the parent class of C++. So if you save your file as .cpp, which is a default extension of any any editor which is connected with C and C++ language, for example Turbo. So when you save your file as .cpp, it just use the each and every concept or each and every function related to your C. But if you save your file with .c extension, it doesn't use the format or the file or function related to your CPP. So you must be careful about the extension also. Next, after the completion of your content, you need to be execute your code first. If the code executes successfully, it returns some output to you. Otherwise, if it returns some error, you need to be you need to uh, connect your file with your library and then run your program. It means you have to check your file first before start the execution again. So basically, coding of C++ depends on four different options. That is, create. You have to be create your file first, save, compile, and then execute. This is the actual, or you can say, ideal format of the C++ execution. Here you can see the code of C++ with and without class. In this code you can easily understood the concept without class, where we cannot where there is no any concept of class inside the program. uh, just call the iostream.h file, that is input output string file, main function with no return type, and here we just call the print data. If you see the program, you just define that it always in a form of what? Top down approach. But ideal C++ is always represent a bottom up approach. Okay, in this case you can see the bottom up approach. Main is in the bottom, whereas the function and the class is in the top. Class is also defined as a keyword or support the rule of keyword, so it must be in a lower case always. Here we can call a class with the name of ex, uh, a data member which name is x, then get data, that is a function name with a argument that is y. We just put the value of y to x. Here I'm going to assign the value of y inside the x. X is a variable or data member of class, whereas y is the variable of get function, that is the local variable. Now we use put method to print the output of the program. This is the Here this entire structure is denoted the behavior of class only. This entire structure is actually represent the behavior of class. Next one is void main. When you use void main, see, compiler execute your code from the void main first instead of class. Okay, here it read the void main first, then exe. Exe is just similar from int a. E is what? E is a variable name. Here E is an object which is a kind of variable or treated as a variable for your compiler, uh, which consists some memory area or occupies some memory area. So E is what? E is a variable. After that, when compiler read E with EX, it just get the data of EX, or the size represent the behavior of EX or the strength of EX class. After that, we just call the get data with the E object, including dot operator with a constant value, that is 4, and then E dot put data. When you use E dot put data, it automatically print the content which are inside the put data. So this is the program with the class, and this is the program without the class of your C++. So here we can see how does how a program can execute with and without the class.